get to the right, here we go. All right. Welcome to the International District Library, Central Avenue. In the background, you may see a brand new, beautifully refurbished sign right here on Route 66. My name is Dr. Shel Sanchez. I'm the Director of Arts and Culture today. We're very excited to have you with us. We have a great announcement that's really a wonderful collaboration among arts and culture, the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency, Mayor Tim Keller, and city councilors. So I'm going to get this started by bringing up Mayor Tim Keller. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And, first, I just want to acknowledge, we felt rain today, if you didn't notice. Like, how great was that? And it's only 85 degrees, so it's a great day in the Duke City. And so we're also really excited to be here at our International District Library. And so not here to talk about this specific facility, but just want to remind folks that, what a great symbol, a massive symbol, that we are not giving up on Route 66, and that we continue to try and do what we can to reinvest in this historic Mother Road. Now, part of that investment is, of course, understanding that our 100th anniversary is almost upon us. And I know the councilors are excited about this, but we're going to begin celebrating that centennial, we think, around 2025 as we lead up to 2026, which is the actual year. And so celebrations are going to commence on that in just a couple of years. But part of that is going to be trying to revitalize even some of the awesome aesthetics of Route 66. And that's what today's program is really about. Because when we think about Route 66, one thing that comes to mind is iconic neon signs. And we have this picture, I don't know, I think you all saw this, which picture this is. So this actually is from the mayor's office. Like, literally, we took it off the wall right here. And it's also just a poster, so it's not like it's fancy. But what do you see in this picture? It is neon signs, right? These iconic signs. That's actually, from sort of an artistic perspective, one of the main defining characteristics. Ironically, it was also raining, I think, in that picture. So you see the streets wet there. But we know, so part of restoring that is restoring a little bit of that look. There is something about Route 66, and part of that has to do with our signage. And usually those signs were associated with restaurants, gas stations, or hotels along this route. And so that's why today we're grateful that our city councilors, Councilor Pena, Councilor Grout, they live on and represent Route 66. Of course, this used to be my state senate district, and I've actually lived on Route 66 or a block away ever since I've been an adult. So we're very familiar with the area, and of course it is a diverse stretch, but it's the longest stretch of the Mother Road in any city in America that's still intact. And so we also believe this is about something bigger. This is about tourism, it's about pride in our city, and it's about understanding that we actually offer something that no other city in America can, which is a very, very long stretch all the way through town of iconic Route 66. So we want to mark that by reinvesting in some of the iconic signage. And so we have a grant program set up, which is we're announcing today, roughly $500,000 available for businesses to apply for and to help where we can help fix up their signage. And our demonstration sign is right behind us, as Shel mentioned. This, of course, was the Caravan East sign. And I think Councilor Payne and I were talking about, I think we've all danced there probably. And my parents did before they were married, and I got in a few rounds before it closed. But the sign remains, but of course now iconically refurbished to represent this library. So we're also trying to demonstrate what that looks like, right? It's that same iconic signage, but in this case, for an awesome new library. So with more on this, I'm going to hand it back to Shel Sanchez, and we'll take it from there. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor. And I'm going to bring up Vice President, I'm going to try that again. Council Vice President Renee Grout, and also District 9. Come on up. Thank you for having me today. I'm very excited to be here. Route 66 is in the heart of our city, and I'm excited for this improvement program to help restore the shine to Central Avenue. So many of these signs are more than advertisements. They define our community and help us find our way.
When I was a student commuting to UNM in the 80s, it wasn't the street signs and the mile markers that grabbed my attention, it was the neon signs, like the Caravan East that we have right here, or Pancho's Mexican Restaurant at Wyoming and Central. The Western Skies Motel, that big old sign up there, that was where my high school graduation party was. Or even the Tasuki Drive-In Theater, that was a massive sign. That was something that we always looked for. These signs showed me the way home. Now these signs need our help. People have asked me why the city doesn't tear those signs down. But part of the reason is they're on private property. Removing them would violate the property owner's First Amendment rights. But these signs are also a part of our history. I would rather encourage property owners to revitalize these signs and make them shine again. They remind us who we are, who we once were, and what we can do again. I'm grateful to Terry Bruner from the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency for making this program possible. To the Friends of the Orphan Signs, thank you for all of your hard work. And to Councilor Pena for making this a priority in your district. I hope that if I can start on the east side of Central and she starts on the west side of Central, we can meet in the middle and revitalize this Central Avenue, and that we can all be proud of it again. I especially want to thank Shel Sanchez, the Director of Arts and Culture, for updating the Route 66 action plan and making it truly actionable. This sign restoration program is just one step in a larger effort to highlight our history and tell the world that this is our home. Thanks.
Okay, so from the far east side of Central to the far west side of Central, I'd like to bring up City Councilor Clarissa Pena, who has been a driving force in all of these conversations that are leading up to the Route 66 Centennial. Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Shel. And I'll say all the thank yous right away because then I'll end up forgetting. But really want to thank the mayor for being totally supportive of these initiatives. Obviously, the councilors who signed on to this resolution, Councilor Grout, Councilor Benton, and Councilor Davis, we all abut Central. And although he wasn't on the resolution, Councilor Sanchez abuts Central also, and he's very, very supportive of us doing all the work on West Central. And Shel, you're amazing, helping us get here. Orphan Signs, they did the inventory. They actually went out and went to every single place of business where these signs were and took an inventory for us so we can really be able to identify what signs that we can work on. So thank you guys. And MRA, thanks, and I like the hat. But I just wanted to say, kind of similar to what Mayor Keller said, is that we have the longest historic stretch of the route in the nation, and I've always felt, because I've done a lot of work on West Central over the years, I've always felt like we could do a much better job at capitalizing on this tremendous asset that we have, right? And so by doing that, I think the signs is part of it, working with businesses. I've been doing this long enough to know that we've had opportunities like this before, but it really put the onus on the business owners and it made it kind of unattainable. So this grant program and the way Director Sanchez, really figured out how we can get this done and make it beneficial and for the business owners and the city, I think is awesome. And then just to say that we have the only place in the nation where the route crosses itself. Everybody talks about Camino Real, and we know that that's a important historical marker, but it was also part of the historic Route 66 sections of it, right? So as we're doing this, we have to remember, and we'll have those conversations about improving those areas too, because to me, this is really something that's going to help us with economic development, tourism, and if we can get everybody to get off the interstate, go and come off and go on to the visitor center on West Central or a visitor center on East Central and just come down Central alone, you'll be able to kind of connect to all the assets Albuquerque has throughout. If you start off at West Central, you have the visitor center, you have the biopark, you have the library on West Central, you have the zoo, you have Nob Hill, you have downtown, you have Old Town. It's just amazing, and I think with the rail yards and what the mayor's doing there and making that connection to those other assets is really really, really making a difference in our city, and I think we're going to really be able to see the effects of that. And I look forward to the Route 66 celebration in just one short year. So thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. And next, I'd like to bring up Lindsay Fromm and Ellen Babcock from Friends of the Orphan Signs. I think, what we've shown already is these big things happen when lots of different groups come together. And Lindsay and Ellen's organization has been a really important nonprofit partner in the community because they're really committed to orphan signs, and they have a great deal of knowledge and have really stepped up with the city to bring that to bear on this project. So come on up.
Hi, everybody. I moved here in 2009. I'd actually lived in New Mexico a very long time before that, but when I moved here, there were a ton of empty signs on Central, and I had this crazy idea that maybe they could be converted into sites for public art, and so Friends of the Orphan Signs was started as a nonprofit in 2010. And Lindsay has been part of the organization since the beginning, and we've spent a lot of time scoping the city for signs and thinking about what could be done with them. So we wrote a little bit of a text to just explain the organization. It's a collaborative public art and educational initiative that revitalizes empty road signs. These signs are called orphans by the historic preservation community. We recognize the historic value of these orphan signs, many of which are mid-century relics, and we develop dynamic, community-oriented public art projects that utilize these structures as sites for both temporary and permanent public artwork. So we engage with lots of different kinds of people, with artists, with students. We both teach at UNM and CNM respectively, and community members of Albuquerque to create collaborative partnerships that center and support local talent. One of our first projects involved Highland High School students. We went into the high school and formed an after-school art club, and that was the group of young people who designed the water pour sign, which is no longer on its site on Central, but is being held in storage, and you may see again sometime soon. So through workshops, we foster an inclusive, creative, and educational environment, encouraging artistic expression and skill development in the process of creating unique artworks and poetry. Often we use text for orphan signs. Our efforts to revitalize disinvested spaces has led to property development and renewal. We can't actually, quantify exactly how this happened, but we have transformed signs on vacant lots and abandoned storefronts that make them feel more visually appealing, and we've noticed that several of these sites have since been developed. Our goal is to contribute to the beautification of the city and to improve the visual impression of our neighborhoods by filling space that is currently empty and lighting areas that are currently dark. This work brings positive attention that impacts the overall health and perception of the community. Okay, so that's our goal, but Lindsay's going to read a little bit more about a specific project.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Fromm. I'm the project director for Friends of the Orphan Signs, and I've been a part of the organization since 2011. I'd like to address property owners and business owners directly. Your signs are important cultural assets. They were once landmarks of mid-century design, and we believe your signs can become landmarks once again. My interactions with property owners, sign makers, sign lovers, and city officials has sparked an idea that I'd like to invite you to dream with me. A 21st century sign renaissance in Albuquerque. As many of you know, a city ordinance was put into place in the 70s that restricted the height, size, and lighting, as well as other aspects of new signage being built. If your sign was built before this ordinance went into place, you were able to maintain your non-conforming sign qualities. A sign business owner told me, and he's been working in the sign business since the early 60s, late 50s actually, that ordinance made it so that there were no longer any iconic signs being built. Another sign business owner said that most signs today are just text in a box. we would like to invite you to imagine a new era of iconic signage in Albuquerque. Imagine your signs brightly colored, lit up at night with neon, in interesting shapes, while incorporating unique imagery and contemporary fonts. With all of the initiatives being promoted today and in the near future, this is a real possibility, and our organization is here to help you make it a reality. Whether you want to preserve your vintage sign, update the sign and make it more contemporary, or turn your sign into an exciting work of public art, our organization is ready and willing to partner with you and the city to make this happen. We're all working towards the same goals. We want to see our stretch of Route 66 visually revitalized. And we want to put our city on the map for its unique and charming signage once again. And finally, I'd like to speak to the sign-loving local artists and community members out there. Please consider working with us. We have many projects in the works, including these collaborations with the city, and we need you to teach us how to reimagine these signs as sites for community representation and excellent design. Please keep an eye out for our calls for artists and connect with us on our website at www.orphansigns.org. Thank you.
All right, well, just following up on that invitation from Lindsay, I want everyone to know that the city is ready to accept applications starting today for the Embracing the Revamp Route 66, the Sign Improvement Initiative. This is an initiative that exemplifies the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency and the Department of Arts and Culture's commitment to revitalizing our city by fostering collaborations between the public and the private sectors. Where you can put in your application today. We're open to applications through October 15th. We want to get started. We want to see these projects done in the next 2 years. The funds can be used for design, for construction, and permitting costs. Property owners can submit for the full restoration or renovation cost of their design. I think before I close up, I just want to say a big thank you to Amanda Sutton and Omega Delgado, who are standing back there in the back. Everybody up here had really big ideas, and they actually figured out how to make them happen. So thank you so much for your hard work on making this a reality. All property owners along Central Avenue who are in an MRA area, which is almost everyone, but check the MRA map, are eligible for this program. And applications will be reviewed competitively, and we're going to start announcing them as soon as we can work through all of the applications, but definitely this year. I just want to thank everyone here. I hope this represents to the public how big of a collaboration this is, and how excited we are to start this program. We also hope that this is just the beginning of a lot of revitalization along the corridor when it comes to signs and other projects. And then the last thing is, if you're here and you're a property owner or press, we're actually holding a question and answer session inside. So if you have specific questions about the applications, come on inside, out of the wind, the occasional rain, and the sun, and we can answer questions in there. Thank you. That was a nice punctuation point, right? Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Have a good day.